Okay, let us start. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamahyam Dadati Swapadati Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padikam Shri Gurun Vaishnava Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Radha Tam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Krishna Namaste Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna Mukani Shri Mati Bhakti Swami Nityananda Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesh Sundari Pachari Deshapati Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Krishna Namaste He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Devamango Jagat Gopesh Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurani Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Shabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Nilachala Nivaha Sanya Nityaya Paramati Balabhadra Subhadra Bhyan Shri Jagannathaya Namah Vancha Kalpatarubhishya Kripa Sindhu Vairava Adhikana Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Pami Bharati Vanchan Pami Namrai Peti Yatpripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinapatan Paramanandamatam Shri Chaitanya Deshwaram. Hare Krishna. So we were reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 23. And I believe we had read up till text 3. So today we will move forward, text 4 onwards. Okay, let us begin. Chapter 23, the Shishumar Planetary Systems. And then we are saying text 4. Ke Janaita Jyotiranekam Sumara Samstha Samsthanena Bhagavato Vasudevasya Yogadharanayam Anuvarnayanti. This great machine, consisting of the stars and planets, resembles the form of a Shishumar dolphin in water. It is sometimes considered an incarnation of Krishna and Vasudeva. Great yogis meditate upon Vasudeva in this form because it is actually visible. Transcendentalists, such as yogis, whose minds cannot accommodate the form of the Lord, prefer to visualize something very great, such as the Virat Purusha. Therefore, some yogis contemplate this imaginary Sushumar to be swimming in the sky the way a dolphin swims in the water. They meditate upon it as a Virat Roop, the gigantic form of the Supreme Personality of God. We can see here how the love for Krishna can be cultivated by the right practice and the right meditation. Here, the Shastra is describing that even those who don't have any love and attraction for Krishna can still cultivate that by the right kind of meditation. Here, the meditation is being given. Meditate on that which is par excellence in this entire universe. Meditate, and that par excellence or that opulence or that vibhuti is but a spark of Krishna's splendor. And that's how we can get to appreciate about. That's how we can try to appreciate and develop some appreciation about the Supreme Personality of God. Just like if we have to get to know about a researcher, we can see his publications. They speak about his hardworking nature or his intelligence or his expertise in that field. Similarly, if you want to understand God, one way to understand God is to understand Him through His opulences. So we get an experience or an exposure to the opulences, and that kindles great awe and reverence. And that way, with reverentially one approaches the Supreme Lord, and one can connect to the Lord. Why don't we do this practice? Because there is a better way to understand Krishna. There is a better way to connect to Krishna and develop our Krishna. We also practice and exercise or undergo cultivation to increase our love for Krishna or to enhance our love for Krishna. How do we do that? How do we do that? Uh, the love of Krishna can be cultivated by interpreting Krishna's opulences. And so, so which kind of opulence we interface? We interface the devotees of the Lord. Our interface is the devotees of the Lord. So through experiencing or interfacing the opulences, different vibhutis of the Lord, we can ignite that dormant love within our heart can get activated. So we get that, or we practice to get that love activated by interfacing or associating with devotees. Because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, my devotees are my best ornaments. So, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema, Sadhya Kabunai, Shavanadi Shuddha Chitte Kariya Uday. So, this Prema, Krishna Prema, which is there in our heart, can get activated and become active, overflow. Shavanadi Shuddha Chitte, in the association of devotees. When we do hearing and chanting of the holy names and the holy glories of the Lord. Let's read further. Yeah, how by interfacing opulence, love can be gendered? Yes, because we get to know about the vibhuti of the person. Just like when we have to choose a researcher to take admission, PhD or project, and we see a researcher who has many publications, we develop awe and respect for him. Uh, we uh, when we have to uh, so same thing is available when we have to when you want to understand about a novelist from his novel or from his creation, we can understand that. Similarly, from the Lord's creation, we can understand the Lord better. Now, but we have another alternative because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says his devotees are his best opulences or best ornaments. So we understand Krishna through the devotees. The devotees are also opulence, vibhuti of the Supreme Lord. And we understand Krishna through his opulence. That is the point. We develop attraction for anything based on its vibhuti and opulences. In fact, when we apply for job also, when students apply for job, they send a resume. What is a resume? Resume is a list of opulences. Yeah. And seeing the caliber of the person, the company decides whether to give job or not. So this is vibhuti, basically. We connect or disconnect based on CV, biodata, opulences, like that. Opulence is part of biodata. यस्य पुच्छार्गे वक्षिरशकुण्डली भूतदेहस्य ध्रुव उपकल्पितास्तस्येलाङ्गुले प्रजपतिरग्निरिन्द्रो धर्म इति पुच्छमूले धातविधात च कार्यम् सप्ताशय तस्य दक्षिणावर्तकुण्डली भूतशरीरस्य यानि उद्गयानि दक्षिण वर्षवे तु नक्षत्राणि उपकल्पयति दक्षिणायानानि तु साभि यथा शिशुमारस्य कुण्डलभोग सन्निवेशस्य पार्श्वयोर्भयोरपि अव्यवाः समासान्त्य भवन्ति दृष्टे तव लाभिति आकाशकर्णचोदतरः. This form of Shishimar has its head downwards and the body is square. On the end of the tail is the planet of Dhruva. On the body of its tail are the planets of the demigods Prajapati, Agni, Indra and Dharma, and at the base of the tail are the planets of the demigods, Dhata and Vidhata. Where the hips might be on the Shishumar are seven saintly sages like Vashishta and Angira. The coiled body of the Shishumar chakra turns towards its right side, on which the 14 constellations from Abhijit to Punarvasu are located. On the left side are the 14 stars from Pushya to Uttarashadha. Thus, its body is balanced because its sides are occupied by an equal number of stars. On the back of the Shishumar is a group of stars known as Ajavithi, and on its abdomen is the Ganges that flows in the sky. That is the Milky Way. But this beautiful form of the Shishumar is being explained like a dolphin, where the head is a downward. So it's a coiled body and the head is downward, like a dolphin. So one can imagine Shishumar like a dolphin. Tip of the tail is Dhruva, then the demigods, planets, the hip area is the seven sages, the left and right are 14, seven stars. So, Manas Shishumar. Let's read further. See, all that it is an imaginary form of the Lord. Just like Vishwarup or Virat Rup is an basically an imaginary form of the Lord. But the point is, because this imaginary form of the this is imagination about the Lord's form. Basically, it is one sense. In one sense, it is like capturing the very expanse of the vibhuti of the Lord in some way. And the moment we capture, our heart gets touched. So therefore, this kind of meditation actually invokes positive feelings and attraction towards the Supreme One. Very beautiful. Because see, this is focused on Krishna, uh, and not just focus, it is a prescribed way because we need some way to capture or measure the expanse of the vibhuti of the God. So the way which is given is you can imagine a dolphin frolicking around in universal air. And that is Krishna. How wonderful, how beautiful meditation it is. Let's read further. पुनर्वासो पुष्य दक्षिणा वामयोः आरद्राश्लेषे च दक्षिण वामयो पश्चिमयो पादयोरभिजिदुत्तरशार्ददक्षिणा वामायोर्नासिकायो यथा साङ्ख्यं श्रवण पूर्वसादे दक्षिण वामयोर्लोचनयोर्धानिष्ठमूलं च दक्षिण वामयो कारणयोर्मदाग्नि अस्त नक्षत्राणि दक्षिणायनानि वाम पर्शवान् त्रिषु युञ्जीता तथैव मृग शीर्षादिनि उदया उदागायनानि दक्षिणापार्श्ववान्त्रिषु प्रतिलोमयेन प्रण्युदितः सकवेशाज्य शङ्खादयोर्दक्षिणा वामयोर्न्यासे. On the right and left sides of where the lions might be on the Shishumar chakra are the stars named Punarvasu, Pushya, Aradra, Ashlesha on its right and left feet. So Adra and Ashlesha are on its right and left feet. Okay. So they are the stars Punarvasu, Pushya, Adra, Ashlesha on the right and the left feet. Then it says Abhijit and Uttarashadha on its are on the right and the left nostrils. Shavana and Purvashadha on the right and the left eyes. Tanishta and Mula on the right and the left ears. The eight stars from Magha to Anuradha, which mark the southern course, are on the ribs of the left of the body, and the eight stars from Mrigashirsha to Purvabhadra, which mark the northern coast, are on the ribs of the right. Hmm? Satabhisa and Jyeshtha on the right and left shoulders. So we see what is the opulence of Krishna. The opulence of Krishna is that Krishna has arranged all these stars and planets in such a systematic fashion, such a beautiful systematic fashion. So we can see that this is the heart of the Supreme Lord. See, the heart is of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord has made this material world for the sake of the rebellious souls. But then also has made this material world with such a great heart and love that it is so intricate and so amazing. For the worst of the people, the Lord does so much. What will the Lord do for his pure devotees? You can just imagine. Okay, so let's read further. उत्तराहानाभागस्त्रीर् अधराहानावयम् मुखेषु चाङ्गरकः सनयेश्वरः उपस्थे बृहस्पति चकोदि वक्ष्यास्यादित्यो हृदय नारायणो मनसि चन्द्रो नाभ्यम् उशनस्थाने अश्विनो बुद्धा प्राणापनयो. प्राणापनयो रहुर्गले केतवा सर्वांगेषु रोमाशु सर्वतारे तारगणः. On the upper chain of Shishumar is August, on its lower chain Yamaraj, on its mouth is Mars, on its genital is Saturn, on the back of its neck the Jupiter, on the chest the Sun, and within the core of the heart Narayan. Within its mind the moon. So on its nail Venus, and on its breast the Ashwini Kumaras. Within its life air known as Prana. On its neck is Rahu. So one thing you can see here, all over its body are the comets. So these planets and stars are everywhere. Mhm. So from the last line here, we can understand that actually Krishna's incarnations are infinite. Krishna's vibhuti is infinite. Krishna is just giving a sample, that's all. Therefore, it is being said here that all over its body are comets. Yes. See, these details of meditation are simply, for a devotee, these details of meditation simply enhance it for Krishna. As Raman Maharaj says, that paying attention to details is sign of love. Just like when we take darshan, we take darshan of the various limbs of the Lord. One fine detail, the more we are able to notice, the more the impression of the darshan goes deep in our heart. The same thing is true here. The same principle is true here. So these details, now you can see that actually the beautiful form of the Lord. And you see, okay, that all these planets and stars, they are like various alankars which are there all over the body of the Lord. It's so effulgent, it's so resplendent, which is so much radiating. Huh? Uh, thus, actually, one can see that this is the offense of Krishna. You know? This is how Krishna is. Hmm? And it is an extent the dolphin is ecstatically moving around. So Krishna's energy is like that, ecstatic. It can go any part to any part. It can extend anywhere to anywhere. Uh, how beautifully the Shishimar is being described. That's how beautiful Krishna's heart is. Right shoulder. Yes, sure. Okay, let's read further. एतद्योहैव भगवतो विष्णुसर्व देवतामयं रूपम् आहारः संज्ञायाम् प्रयतो बाह्यतो निरीक्ष्यमाण उपतिष्ठेत नमज्योतिर्लोकाय कालायन या अनिमिने अनिमेषं पतये महापुरुषाय अविधि महीति. My dear king, the body of Shishumar, as thus described, should be considered the external form of Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Morning, noon, and evening, one should silently observe the form of the Lord as a Shishumar Chakra and worship him with this mantra. O Lord, you who have assumed the form of time, or resting place of all the planets moving in different orbits. O Master of all demigods, O Supreme Person, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you and meditate upon you. Yes, Babu. Silently observe the form of the Lord in Sri Chakra and then say, O Lord, who assumed this form of time, a resting place of all the planets, moving in different orbits. O Master of all the demigods, the Supreme Person, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, upon you. So this external form is what? See, external form is not the deity. The deity Krishna manifest. This is not deity. External form is like sometimes we make a diorama of fiber. So it's not deity. There's no Pran Pratishtha which is done, but it looks like the deity. So that's external form. Let's see further. Grihahar Shataramayam Adhidaivikam Papapaham Mantra Kirtam Trikalam Namasyata Smarato Va Trikalam Nashetata Kalajam Asupapam. The body of the Supreme Lord Vishnu, which forms the Shishumar Chakra, is the resting place of all the demigods and of all the stars and planets. One who chants this mantra to worship that Supreme Person 3 times a day will surely be freed from all sinful reaction. If one simply offers his obeisances to this form or remembers this form today, all his recent sinful activities will be destroyed. All his recent sinful activities will be destroyed. Summarizing the entire description of the planetary systems of the universe, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that one who is able to meditate upon this arrangement as the Virat Rupa or the Vishnu Rupa, the external body of the Lord, uh, and worship him 3 times a day by meditation, will always be free from all sinful reactions. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur estimate that Dhruvaloka, the pole star, is 38 lakhs or 3.8 million yojanas above the sun. Yeah. So above the Dhruvaloka by, yes, by 100 million yojanas, sorry, 10 million yojanas is Maharloka. So above the Dhruloka by 10 million yojanas. Uh, Above Maharloka by 20 million yojanas is Janaloka. Above the Janaloka by 80 million yojanas is Tapaloka. And above the Tapaloka by 120 million yojanas is Satyaloka. The distance from Sun to Satyaloka is 233.8 million yojanas. Yeah, 233.8 million yojanas. Yeah, 1870 point, so 1 billion 870.4 million miles. Vaikuntha planets begin 26 200,000. That is 26.2 million yojanas above the Satyaloka. Thus, the Vishnu Puran describes the covering of the universe is 0.26 billion yojanas away from the sun. The distance from the sun to the earth is 100,000 yojanas. And below the earth by 70,000 yojanas are the seven lower planetary systems called Atala, Vitala, Sutala. So this is 260 million, 0.26 billion. Yeah. The distance of the sun to the earth is 100,000 yojanas. And below the earth by 70,000 yojanas are the seven lower planetary systems Atala, Abhitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, Patala. Below the lower planets by 30,000 yojanas, Sheshanag is lying on the Garbhodak ocean. That ocean is yes. So then he says below the lower planet by 30,000 yojanas, the Sheshanag is lying on the Garbhodak ocean. So the ocean is this much deep. How much? Huge. 249. Yeah, 0.25 billion yojanas deep. Thus the total diameter of the universe is approximately hmm, the total diameter of the universe is approximately zero point 0.5 billion or zero point 0.4 billion, no, zero point 0.5 billion yojanas, which is 4 billion miles. 4 billion miles. 4 billion miles. That is the diameter. Precisely, Bhaktivedanta Prabhu is the fifth canto, 23rd chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled the Sushuma Planetary Systems. So 4 billion miles is the diameter of the universe. 4 billion. So now we've reached the calculation of billion. Let's read further. Shri Shukla Uvacha. So now we're going to chapter 24, which is the subterranean heavenly planets. Subterranean heavenly planets. Okay. Adastat Sabitur Yojana Swarvan Nakshatravak Charatiti Eke Charatiti Eke Sosat Maratvam Grihatvam Chalabhata Bhagavat Anukampaya Bhagavat Anukampaya Swayam Asura Pashayatah Senhikeyo Atad Arahas Tasya Tata Janma Karmani Senhikeyo Atad Arahas Tasya Tat Janma Karmani. Yes, Prabhu. Shishuka Uvacha. Choparistad Vakshamaya. Yeah. Vakshamaha. Okay, let's see. Sukadev Goswami said, my dear king, some historians, the speaker of the Purana, say that 10,000 yojanas, that is 80,000 miles below the sun, is a planet known as Rahu, which moves like one of the stars. The presiding deity of that planet, who is the son of Simhika, is the most abominable of all Asuras. But although he is completely unfit to assume the position of a demigod or planetary deity, he has achieved by a position that position by the grace of the Supreme Personality of God. Later, I shall speak further about it. Yeah. So Rahu is below the sun. That's what we are seeing. Sun of the stars, uh, no, it's one of the planets, which moves like one of the stars. Let's see further. Yes. Okay, text 2. यदा धस्तारनेर मंडलम प्रतापतस्तत् विस्तरतो योजनाच्युतम् अचक्षते द्वादश सहस्रां सोमस्य त्रायोदशा सहस्रम् राहुर्या परमानीत व्यवधानकृत् वैरानुबन्ध सूर्या चन्द्रमासा अभिभावति. Yes, the sun globe, which is a source of heat, extends for 80,000 miles. The moon extends for 160,000 miles. Rahu extends for 30,000 yojanas, it's 240,000 miles. Formerly, when nectar was being distributed, Rahu tried to create dissension between the sun and the moon by interposing himself between them. He is inimical toward both the sun and the moon, and therefore he always tries to cover the sunshine and moonshine on the dark moon day and the full moon night. As stated here, the sun extends for 10,000 yojanas and the moon extends for twice that, 20,000 yojanas. The word Dwadasha should be understood to mean twice as much as 10, 20. In the opinion of Vijaya Dhwaja, the extent of Rahu should be twice that of the moon, or 40,000 yojanas. However, to reconcile this apparent contradiction to the text of Bhagavatam, Vijaya Dhwaja cites the following quotation concerning Rahu. Rahu Somaravinam Tumandala Triguno Titam. Which means Rahu is twice as large as the moon, which is twice as large as the sun. This is the conclusion of the commentator Vijaya Dhwaja. So Rahu is much bigger planet. See, Bhagavatam, this description of Bhagavatam can be very, very simple. This discussion of Bhagavatam can be very explosive, intellect explosive. So when we see that, okay, all these are various vibhuti of the Supreme Lord. So it's like taking darshan of the Lord who is decorated with all these beautiful ornaments of his vibhuti. So one can be feeling very ecstatic. Today's darshan, what beautiful darshan, like that. Or it can be intellect exploding. If we try to capture everything, whatever it is, within our limited brains. Why? Because that we can only, why? Because that other than the Shastras and the revelation with the Acharyas, we have no clue to what it is. And those revelations are not meant for analytical framework assertion. No, those opulences are being described just to so that you can relish Krishna's beauty, Krishna's decoration, today's darshan, so decoration like that. This is what you have to remember when we are discussing or we are reading the Vishnu darshan. Yeah, this is what we remember when we are doing the Vishnu darshan. Yeah, this is relish. Because intellectually we can only reconcile it provided we have complete knowledge, which we don't have. And the revelations are not given complete because the purpose of revelation was to ignite our love for Krishna. That is the point. So we can read further now. So you can see, you see the point, that hmm, the Krishna has created the sun and the moon. They're very, very powerful. Krishna has created Rahu, which is bigger than them. Which can eclipse their powers. So in this world, actually, greatness is Uh, the attempt to greatness or greatness is a futile attempt. Better to remain humble and surrendered and committed to the Supreme Lord. Let's see text 3. तान् निशम्यो भयत्रापि भगवता रक्षणाय प्रतयुक्तं सुदर्शनं नमः भागवतम् दयितम् अस्त्रं तत्तेजस दुर्विशाहं मुहुः परिवर्तामानम् अभया उपस्थितो मुहूर्तम् उद्विजामानात् शाकिता हृदय आरदेव निवर्तते तत् परागम परागागम इति वदन्ति लोकः. After hearing from the sun and the moon demigods about Rahu's attack, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu engages with this known as Sudarshan Chakra to protect them. The Sudarshan Chakra is a Lord's beloved devotee and is favored when the intense heat of its effulgence, meant for killing the non-Vaishnavas, is unbearable to Rahu, and he therefore flees in fear of it. During the time that Rahu disturbs the sun and the moon, there occurs what people commonly know as an eclipse. The Supreme Personality of God, Vishnu, is always the protector of his devotees, who are also known as demigods. The controlling demigods are the most obedient to Lord Vishnu, although they also want material sense enjoyment. And that is why they are called demigods or almost godly. Although Rahu attempts to attack both the sun and the moon, they are protected by Lord Vishnu. Being very afraid of Lord Vishnu's chakra, Rahu cannot stay in front of the sun or the moon for more than a muhurata, 48 minutes. The phenomena that occurs when Rahu blocks the light of the sun and the moon is called as an eclipse. So the attempt of the scientists of this earth to go to the moon is as demoniac as Rahu's attack. Of course, their attempts will be failures because no one can enter the moon or the sun so easily. Like the attack of Rahu, such attempts will certainly be failures. Yeah. Yeah, I'm reading the third verse, right? Yeah, it's 48 minutes is maximum one muhurata. Yeah, yeah. So whom can the sun and moon be fearful of? Sun and the moon are fearful of Rahu. That's creation. And Rahu is also fearful. Rahu is also fearful of whom? Sudarshan. Rahu is fearful of Sudarshan. And Uh, and so, nice commented. Yeah. So ultimately, one stands to gain recluse only at the shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. The fabric of fear can never be taken, no, can never be avoided. But when one takes shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, one can experience Abhaya. The Lord is always eager to protect his devotees. Although in this material world, the fear or the anxiety can never be avoided, the path of spiritual life is meant for making one fearless, anxietyless. In fact, spiritual life is all about making one anxiety free. The Lord explains this. Brahma bhuta prasannatma nashochiti nidyanchati. Tama sarveshu bhuteshu bhaktim labdhe para. Brahma bhuta prasannatma. When one's chitta is fixed in the spiritual consciousness, such a person is very happy. Nashochiti nidyanchati. The person is never lamenting, never hankering. He is already liberated. In every place, in everything in this material world, there is this anxiety. Get free from this anxiety when has to take shelter of the Supreme. Prahlad Maharaj also says this. Sadhumanya Surabari. But then here Masat. One who has accepted this material body, this body is full of anxiety. Accepting the material body is accepting the whole ocean of anxieties. So therefore, uh, so as long as there is material body, there is going to be anxiety. One cannot avoid it, and therefore a devotee does not keep, is obsessed about preserving his or her own body. A devotee wants to awaken a spiritual existence, a spiritual body. So as long as material body is there, anxiety has to be there. To get rid of that anxiety, get rid of the material body by practice of Krishna. Krishna Gandhi is so powerful that it can power of bhakti, the fire of bhakti. And even the subtle body is dissolved. So it's so, so there is gross body, subtle body is dissolved. Such a person is Jivan Mukta. No? He cannot be bound any further in activities of. Very good. Yes. That is the point. ततो दस्तात् सिद्धचारण विद्याधारणम् सदा नानी त्वाम् मात्र एव. Below Rahu by 10,000 yojanas or 80,000 miles of the planets known as Siddhaloka, Charana Loka, and Vidya. It is said the residents of Siddhaloka, being naturally empowered with the power of the yogis, can go from one place to another. Yeah, so there are the Siddhaloka, the Charana Loka, and Vidyadhara Loka. It is said the residents of Siddhaloka, being naturally endowed with the powers of the yogis, can go from one planet to another by their natural mystic powers. Yeah, it is said that the residents of Siddhaloka, being naturally endowed with the powers of the yogis, can go from one planet to another by their natural mystic powers without using airplanes or similar machines. Okay, so I think let's stop. We continue further on a discussion of Srimad Bhagavatam the next class. 7:30. So we'll stop here for today. We'll continue again next week at our regular slot, Tuesdays. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila
Jai,
Prabhupada jai. Hari
jai.
Bol.
Bye-bye.
Why Rahu is going attacking here and there? Because he doesn't want to listen. No? One who listens to Krishna will not have to experience misery. You know? But one who doesn't listen to Krishna and becomes whimsical, such a person has to go here and there everywhere and completely rested, just like Rahu. So Rahu is teaching us a lesson. Better be a devotee, and follow the instructions. Don't remain a vagabond, belligerent vagabond, like that. Yeah, very good.